Before I get to the video in question, I just want to throw something out there. It is not a plot hole that Toshiro and Rangoku didn't recognize Ishin. If you go back to the original series, they never were in the same screen ever. They were never together at all. Even though they were in Ichigo's house, Ishin was never there while they were there. All right, here comes the video. Aizen. Aizen is behind everything. This is all a part of his master plan. I thought that was a joke within the community, to where I would go to different sites and Facebook especially, and I go in groups and everybody's like, "Well, Aizen planned it. Aizen did it. Aizen did it." And I thought they were just joking and being like silly because of what Aizen said way back in the original series when him and Ichigo fought. He was like, "I've been planning this since before you were born." I didn't really think much of it. I thought he was just talking trash. Nah. This episode confirms he literally did. If Aizen didn't do the holification and all of that stuff, all the experiments, if none of that happened, Ishin and Ichigo's mom would have never met. Aizen was there when they met, and he was like, Jin was good. I think Tozen. He was getting ready to come down and like go ahead and kill her. When she interfered, he was like, no, let us play out. Let it play. Let's see what happens. And the hollow that they made out of a dead Soul Reaper bit into Ichigo's mom, and that's how Ichigo got those hollow powers. But this brings into question, was this a rewrite, or was this all a part of Kubo's overall plan of writing? Go back to the beginning of the series, not Thousand Year Blood War. I'm talking about way back in season 1 of the original Bleach. I went and rewatched a few episodes after I saw this episode. 17, 18, 19, those episodes, I went back and rewatched those. That is where, to kind of give you kind of a heads up what that's about. When Ichigo first fought Byakugo and he lost his Soul Reaper powers because it was only temporary from Rukia. So he went to Urahara and he gave him this whole story. I think it might have been a lie now that I think about it, about, hey, you can get your powers back. He had those chains attached to his chest, and he had to go through a process of fighting in order to become either a Soul Reaper or a Hollow. I think all of that was bullcrap. I think that was all a big lie that Urahara was spouting about, the chains and everything. Because again, he knew about the holification and stuff. I think it's the Vizors, or I think that's what you call them. He knew about Shinji and all those folks. He was a part of all of that, so he knew that history. So when Ichigo came out of that hole and he had the hollow mask for the first time, Urahara didn't really say anything about that. If you go back and watch the episode, he was like, "Congratulations, you're a Soul Reaper." He made zero mention. I kid you not. Go back and watch. I think it's episode 19. Go back and watch his reaction. At first, when they panned to him and he saw his face was emotionless. He didn't say anything. And then afterwards, he said, "Congratulations, you're a Soul Reaper." After Ichigo took off the mask, he knew more than what he let on. But that's his whole personality. So he knows so many things, but he just doesn't say anything. So this changes everything for me about Ichigo. But think about this. Okay, I'm not really spoilers, but I want you to really think. My anime only people, hear me out and really process what was discovered in this episode versus the original series. I want you to stay with me here. Ichigo had these hollow powers, not because of that situation in the first season. The first season led us to believe that because he was going back and forth between Hollow and Soul Reaper, that's how he got the mask and everything, but that is not the reason. The reason is, in this episode, this brand new episode, we saw that his mother was bit by that holified Soul Reaper. That's where that bloodline of holification that Ichigo was using as a power set in the original series, that's where that actually came from. Old man Zangetsu, who was training him during that original series, going for his Zanpakuto that appeared out of nowhere after he grabbed the red ribbon. Again, go back and watch episode 18 and 19 if you're familiar with what I'm saying. But he found his sword and he pulled it out. Not a single Soul Reaper in existence has had that type of experience other than Ichigo. That's why he got kicked out of Soul Society by Oetsu, because Oetsu knew that none of the sword creatures, I forgot what it's called, it starts with an A, but none of them would pair with Ichigo because Ichigo has never had that experience of getting a sword from him and having it bond with him. That leads to the huge question. Where did Ichigo's sword actually come from? His sword is not in any way connected to Soul Society. Yes, he got his sword powers from his dad, but that sword that old man Zangetsu, gave him, that is, I guess, old man Zangetsu himself, he's not attached to Soul Society. This episode pretty much, and if you look at this episode that just came out and you go to the original series, none of that makes sense. His whole getting the powers. And what about Ichigo, the white Ichigo? What was he about? Up to this point, I thought he was the hollow version, or the hollow powers. He represented the hollow powers of Ichigo. Does he? Is that the hollow part? It changes everything that you know. It spins it on his head. Again, if you know some spoilers, I'm trying not to be too spoilery here, but please don't put that in the comment section, because some people honestly don't see it yet or hasn't clicked into them yet. But for my people who are read ahead, you know what I'm talking about. You know exactly what I'm referring to. This all is starting to connect and make way more sense, because the original series, I guess because it was just so action-packed, I just kind of let things go that didn't make sense to me or wasn't confirmed by anybody else. I just kind of let it go and just whatever. But with 1,000-Year Blood War, I really like that they're doing things and explaining things that fills in the gaps and changes your perspective on what you thought you knew about this series. Because there's so many. Oh man, I'm glad I'm a teacher, so I'm on winter break right now. So I may have time this week to like go over and watch some old episodes of the first season to really grasp everything that I think I have in my head. I'm starting to form the full process of Ichigo's powers in my head, and it's mind-bending. I know one thing I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna watch all the episodes of him and old man Zangetsu talking with each other. Oh man, this is crazy. The Aizen stuff, the whole reveal about, Ichigo's, where his powers are coming from. Man, like, guys, like, I highly encourage you, if you have the time, because if you're, either in the education field or you're a student and you got some break time and you're really enjoying what you're seeing, because this episode was phenomenal, I encourage you to do what I'm going to do, and I'm going to go back and watch some of the OG episodes, because this was mind-blowing. If you are somebody who deep dives and really processes and thinks about everything that you're seeing on screen, this episode is insane. The amount of different contexts, why Urio's dad doesn't like Ishin that much, or they kind of have like a messed up relationship. That was kind of completely detailed out here. At the end, if you might have missed it, but Urio, he was at the end, he was with one of the Stern Ritters. I forget that guy's name, but he was hanging out with him. I don't know where that's going to go. I'm speechless. I'm speechless. So guys, I hope I didn't ramble on too much, but jeez, this is. Follow me, guys. Follow me in the comment section without spoiling. Throw out some of your theories, some things you thought I might have got wrong. Am I hot? Am I cold? But please, I am begging you. There's a bunch of people who are complete anime owners. I don't mind getting spoiled myself, because again, I know some stuff ahead of time. It doesn't really bother me, but I know there's some people who are anime only who don't want to know the big reveal. And there's the huge reveal that I tried my best to avoid completely, throwing out there, but don't throw that at them if you can, please. Please, 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 please don't spoil that for people, because I remember when I found out that big reveal, it blew my mind completely, and it was right in front of my face and I couldn't see it. But don't spoil that for them, please. But guys, follow me. Take care and deuces.